So, yesterday was a pretty big day for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm not just talking about the fact that it was YCS Pasadena. I'm not just talking about the fact that based on the top cut, it looks like the meta seems to have balanced itself out. I'm not even talking about the return of Sky Striker to prominence after somewhat of a lackluster showing at the past couple events. No, I'm talking about the announcement of the next YCS. I'm talking about the big announcement for what's going to be going on at YCS Atlanta this coming March. And that announcement is that the event will be Yugioh's first ever 3v3 tournament. This to me is freaking awesome and really fascinating. I'm surprised not a lot of people have talked about this yet. I mean, maybe people are waiting till we get closer, waiting till we have more information. More people are probably more interested in the results of this tournament. But this idea is super interesting to me because it kind of changes the way a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event works. First and foremost, what this does is that it shows that maybe we can do other sort of themes or different types of things for major events at YCS. Now, yes, they've done sort of team type events at different tournaments before, like I believe for a while there. I don't know if they're still doing it. At YCS's, they would do a side event where you competed with two other people from your school as a team to win money for it. And that, to me, was a really cool idea. I talked about that when that was announced, too. But what's sort of different about this is that this will be on the main stage. This will be on the big show. Like, the big point of YCS Atlanta is that you have to have a team. And this could mean a lot for the future. Who's to say they don't do like a YCS where maybe it's going to have its own special format, or maybe even work under a previous ban list. So many people love GOAT format, why not do a big GOAT format tournament? If Konami can pull this off and make this work, you can actually potentially open the door to any crazy idea you want. And I like that, because as I've said multiple times before, Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs more variety in its playstyles. You look at Magic, you look at Vanguard, Pokemon, all these other card games have different formats that require different playstyles and different thinking methods. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't really have that, or at least not in the same way. Now, obviously, there are many different fan projects and things like GOAT format and different sorts of tournaments held by, like, rather it's Zodiac or anything that try to utilize different ideas. But the thing is that I want to see Konami explore these options. I want to see Konami make for variety. Yeah, we're getting speed duels, but that's kind of still a few months away, and we don't know if those will catch on yet. This is going to be a testing ground to see what Konami can do, and I love the idea of it. First up, we will go over the details we have. And some of these kind of maybe made me a little less excited for the idea than I was at first. Because when I first heard this, my assumption was it was going to be, you have a team of 3, player 1, 2, 3, and the matches will be best of 3, where it's player 1 versus player 1, game 1, player 2 versus player 2, game 2, that kind of thing. It's looking more like all 3 matches will go on simultaneously, and the minute 2 matches have been won by one team, the whole thing just ends. I kind of would have liked it the other way. I know that some may view that a little unfair because, like, what if player 3 doesn't get to play a lot? Or, like, what if you have a bad hand? It's not fair that your involvement in the match just ends because you have a bad hand. I know that, but think about it. How fucking intense would it be if, like, one player wins, the next loses, and it's all on player 3's shoulders? You gotta admit, that's not necessarily practical, but fuck, it would be fun. But no, everyone will play their matches at the same time. I already explained that. This has got me thinking of a lot of crazy ideas. But also it's sort of interesting because, like, well, how does that work with time limits? What if 2 matches are still going? That kind of thing. We'll know more as we get closer, but I think it's just such an interesting idea because it means that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players kind of gotta trust each other. Like, yes, there are plenty of teams out there who, like, work with each other and help each other test play and get ready for tournaments and handle travel accommodations. All that is fantastic. But now it's a little bit different, because now you are betting your nationals invite, you're betting your whole performance on the weekend that you've made sure you've got 2 people who you have sided with right. And remember, that's not just as simple as, I'm going to get the 2 best, like, Sky Striker players in my locals. Let's assume by March the meta will be the same. It won't be, but that's going to affect when you have to choose who each other plays. Now again, I don't know how it will be decided who plays who. Maybe everyone gets a number at the beginning. But even then, that's kind of interesting, because if you have a number, do you pick people's placement based on what you're hearing a lot of other people doing? If you hear Jeff Jones is going in with his FTK deck and he's going to be player 3, do you have someone who plays a deck that's designed to stop FTKs be player 3 in case you go up against him? Or do you decide right then and there? Do you take that gamble that based on what you know about this person or what you're kind of assuming about the way the team goes, you know how to arrange yourselves? This really changes the way we have to think as players. And it is sort of cool you have to rely on someone else. I've always said this, that a big portion of card games and the appeal, and I think why they work, is that they force you to have social interaction. And to me, this kind of takes it on to that next level, because there will be, rather the matches go the way I kind of want it to or not, there will be situations where you have to trust one person to save it for your team. And that's not always easy. Now, I always go to Bushiroad Springfest for Cardfight Vanguard, where they do Team League. And I have issues with their sort of take on Team League, simply put because their things are best of one. And also, Vanguard's not as widespread as Yu-Gi-Oh! And big teams aren't as common. So it's a lot easier for there to be an odd man or two odd mans out at locals. But no, I always find the concept of having to rely on people and team up with people and pick teams to be a very interesting idea. Now that's a little bit different because also in Vanguard Team League, no two people can be playing the same deck. You have to all be doing something a little bit different, or at least you have to choose a different clan. So that's definite. So obviously that won't necessarily be a factor here, but yeah, no, I think it's going to be really interesting to see as we get closer to the event and big name players start talking like what is going to be their basis for making a team? What is their basis for picking a deck to play if you're part of a team? Like all that to me, it's going to open up a lot of interesting doors for where we're going to go for this event, and I can't wait for it. Will I attend myself? I don't know, travel can get expensive. We'll know as we get closer. But if I can go, I'm saying it now. Simo, Rank 10, House of Champs, Paul from Team APS. Join me, my fellow Yu-Gi tubers. Let us form the greatest team anyone has seen. Team 5 Dicks. Now, obviously, this is a pun on Team 5Ds from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. There will be no actual dicks, because I don't want Robbie Cole or Farfa involved in this. But come on, guys. You know you want to be with this guy right here. Come on, come on. But anyways, tell me, are you interested in this idea? Are you excited for the idea of a big team tournament? Because I know I am, and I can't wait. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me as we see if we can go to this event.